Well, greetings, cannabis lovers. I'm coming to you today from my former hometown of Salem, Massachusetts. Lived here most of my adult life, but had to flee from economic hardship. Gotta wait for this jet to fly over. So, we've been living in a van for a few years. You can visit my van dwelling channel. It's called VANgazmic Voyage and find out more. But we've been living in Maine, up in northern Maine. I own property up there for the last 6 months. And we're going to be moving into an apartment. We've been staying on my property in the van because the camp I have up there is just a seasonal camp. There's no insulation, there's no heat, there's no electricity. You can't live there in the wintertime unless you're a real diehard. But I'm 69 years old, so I'm not into beating myself up anymore. Anyway, we have not yet officially established ourselves as Maine residents because it took a while just to get an address. The house that I built didn't even have a number on it. And I had to apply to the county, who applied to the state, and then I waited about a month. So my house now has a number. It's on a road and it has a number. But I don't get mail there. I have a UPS box in Bangor. But we're going to be living about 8 miles outside of Bangor. We just rented an apartment. And we signed a 1-year lease. And it's going to feel good to get housed again. 3 years in a van is a lot. But it's been an exciting adventure. But I was hoping, once we get into an apartment, that I could resume cultivating. But my landlord says no. Even though Maine has recreational marijuana and the state law allows us to cultivate in our homes, my landlord says no. And no smoking on the property, of course. That's pretty much standard these days. We have not, we have to get a doctor. We have to change doctors. We have to get primary care doctors. It's my son who would get medical up in Maine because he has epilepsy. I don't know if I would qualify. I did in Massachusetts because of the arthritis in my hips. But I don't know if Maine will allow me to do that. But epilepsy definitely will get you certified in Maine. But I can't get an appointment with him with a new doctor because I have to change his insurance. His Mass Health coverage, Medicaid Mass Health, won't cover him in Maine. So I tried calling the other day, and you stay on the line, and you just wait and wait and wait. Finally, I gave up. But so we're not able to buy medical in Maine right yet, and it's probably going to be a while. Maine does have recreational, but it was voted into law 4 years ago, and they have yet to open a single recreational dispensary. There's plenty of medical dispensaries around, but there are zero recreational dispensaries in Maine. They're really dragging their feet. People keep throwing roadblocks and stalling it and delaying it. I guess there are people up there who are still opposed to it. Doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, Massachusetts has been recreational for a few years now, and they're making a lot of money off the tax revenue. I don't know what's the matter with the folks in Maine, but we can't buy recreational and we can't cultivate. Now, I do have some plants growing in the yard. You've probably seen those videos, and they are flowering right now. Now it's September 9th. They started showing flowers about maybe 5 days ago, September 9th. And now the race is on to see if those plants will ripen before it freezes up there. I just saw a long-range forecast for next week. It looks like Monday night is going to get down to 39 degrees. I'm not an expert on these things, but I'm pretty sure that might kill a marijuana plant, and that's not going to be ripe. Those flowers aren't going to be ripe by next Monday. So I'm going to have to get creative. I'm going to have to build a tent around them, construct some kind of a frame out of wood, and drape it with tarps. And I think what I'll do is I have a 2-gallon, in fact I have a couple of 2-gallon spray bottles that you use for spraying your gardens. And they hold 2 gallons each. I think what I'll do is I'll put boiling water in them. I'll boil the water, get it nice and hot. And I'll put them right in the middle of the plants, and then I'll just put the tarp over it and hope for the best. I don't have a warm, heated place that I can bring them in for the night. They're going to have to deal with it outdoors. So hopefully I'll be able to save them. And hopefully I'll get a good harvest. But that harvest is probably another 3 weeks away. And it's starting to get cold. There's going to be a few nights. There's already been like 4 or 5 nights where it's gotten down into the upper 40s, like 48 Fahrenheit, 48, 49, and they survived it no problem. So I see some upper 40s on the long-range forecast. So it's getting cold up there in northern Maine. It's a short growing season, let me tell you. And I'm very disappointed that I won't be cultivating indoors, because that was going to be the basis of this channel, was the continuation of cannabis cultivation on my channel. I've been away from it for 3 years while we lived in the van, and now I come back, and during that 3 years, I got a lot of views. I got thousands of views on my videos. So now I'm starting to put more videos out, and I'm seeing more subscribers, and I'm sorry, I'm going to have to disappoint you guys. I won't be doing any more cultivating after this month. And that's too bad. We signed a lease for 1 year, so we have to stay in the apartment until the middle of next September. So that means I have another summer to cultivate on my property up there. So I got a late start this year. I didn't want to try to sprout seeds if it was going to be below 50 degrees Fahrenheit. I thought the seedlings wouldn't survive the cold. So I waited until the nighttime temperatures got 50 degrees or above, and by then it was already past the summer solstice, so I was already into the 12-12 light cycle outdoors. So they were born in a flowering light cycle. But I'm going to see if I can get them started indoors next year, and see what I can do about building a cold frame outside, and start them earlier, and see if I can get a much better harvest next year. But that's next summer, so I can't cultivate until next summer. So I'll try to find content for this channel, and here's some. We drove down to Massachusetts today from the Bangor area so we could score some dope. We could score some weed. And I bought a 1/4 ounce of flowers. I'm beginning to tire of the vaporizing, the pens, the vape pens. I'm having problems with them. First of all, they coat your lungs with a real sticky, gooey substance, and you end up coughing that up. And you know, there's a lot of talk about vaping, even THC being bad for your lungs, causing problems, respiratory problems. We don't need that. So I'm going to go back to smoking the flowers. I just ordered a bong, and should be arriving in a few days. I haven't had a bong in so long, I can't even remember. But that will at least, you know, the water in the bong will cool the smoke down. So even though we'll be smoking, it'll be cooler. So it won't be, you know, blasting hot chemicals down our lungs. And then I do have another vaporizer. It's an old one. It's an Iolite. It's the kind where it's butane fired, and you grind up the pot, and you put it in the little chamber, and you push the chamber down on. You hit the button on it, and it fires up. And then you watch the little light. The light comes on orange when it's burning, and then when it heats up to the right temperature, it shuts off, and that's when you start toking on it. Now it's still pretty dang hot when you toke on that. It's not, it's not smoke because it doesn't reach the flash point. It shuts itself off before it gets that hot, but still pretty hot. So I'm going to try to find a way using maybe surgical tubing or something like that to hook that vaporizer up to my bong. So any suggestions? I'd appreciate hearing about it. Yeah, and then that way there'll be no smoke, so you won't get any of those nasty chemicals you get from actually burning the flower. It'll be vaporized, and then the vapor will cool in the bong. So I think that's probably the safest way to do it, other than edibles. So we went shopping today at the cannabis dispensary. I got a quarter ounce of what's it called, wedding cake. They call it wedding cake. Now, it only describes it as hybrid. So I don't know if it's indica dominant, or I don't know if there's a dominance, or if it's 50-50. This doesn't say. But having sampled it already, I can tell you that it has a definite indica. I think it's an indica dominant. I think the effect is more indica than sativa. And that's fine. My son needs that. It's probably better for his epilepsy. And let me sleep at night. So there's that. But yeah, I definitely would recommend wedding cake. It's pretty strong. And I think the quarter ounce will last us until we harvest our own. And then I bought 2 bags of edibles. They're candies. They're called Betty's something, chewables or something like that. Kind of like saltwater taffies or something. I haven't tried those yet. The quarter ounce, I had to buy 2 1/8 ounce containers, and they were $50 each. So that was $100. This is of course before taxes. And then I bought 2 bags of the edibles, and those were $20 each. So there was $140, and with the tax, it came out to $173. Now, it's been a while since I was in Colorado. I was out there a year and a half ago. I have a close friend who lives in Denver, and I'm telling him what the prices I'm paying are around here, and he can't believe it's so expensive. It's a lot cheaper out in Colorado. So we're paying a premium for some reason, being here on the East Coast. I'm not sure why that is, but hey, at least it's available. Now, I have to drive down from Bangor. That takes 4 hours. And then you have to, wait while you put your order in and this and that. But it was worth the wait. We already meandered over to the Chinese food stand. We're at the Salem Willows Park, right on the ocean. And yeah, we got a good buzz on it. We went over and had Chinese food. So that's excellent. And but yeah, I guess we're paying a lot, but at least it's available. And eventually, we will get certified in Maine, and we'll be able to buy. There's a cannabis store less than a mile away. We're out in the country. The place we're renting is out in the country. It's really pretty. I don't know how many of you people have ever been to Maine, but most people associate Maine with the coastline, Acadia National Park and down east Maine, but inland Maine, backwoods Maine, is another world apart, and it's beautiful up there. My property is gorgeous up there. And the place we're renting is out in the country. There's farms and woods, and it's real nice. We're going to be real happy there. But yeah, the goal is to travel. My retirement goal was to travel extensively, and we did that in the van. Go visit my VANgazmic Voyage channel. There's a lot of cool travel videos from out west. I'm running out of time. I got about 30 seconds left. So yeah, anyway, that's the news from here. Hope you all doing well out there, staying safe, staying healthy. Be cool, be well. Peace and out.